Hi, good evening. I'm going to talk about today a long lost art called saving. It's been morphed into investing. Everybody wants to invest in this, buy this stock, buy that stock. Maybe it'll go up, maybe you'll get paid dividends, whatever. They basically are investors and not savers. And what I propose is that why don't we? Why can't we be savers? And I just want to save. And some people think that's a bad idea to save in gold and silver only, and just to save. But I don't think so. I think we historically we would save our money and our money when our money was backed with gold and silver you could do so. You can't do that now because our money is not backed with gold and silver. It's just paper and it's being printed to infinity. Now, the reason why there's nothing wrong with fiat per se. The only problem is that people who control the printing press they will eventually print, and we're seeing that today. This is, of course, why I like bitcoins because you can't print bitcoins, and there's no way to do so. So, anyways, I want to play you a little clip from Mike Maloney's site here, talking about that long lost art.
But my parents' generation was a generation of savers until Nixon took us off of the Bretton Woods system where the dollar was connected to gold and inflation was limited. A person could go to work and expect that if they saved 10% of their paycheck every single month, by the time they got into their 60s, they could retire and live off of that plus the interest. Live off of the savings account and the interest for the rest of their lives. And that went out the window when Nixon took us off of gold. And all of these savers got punished. They got wiped out to inflation. And then we created the ERISA Act and forced people to become investors. And then we had the NASDAQ boom, and everybody got a trading station. And then we had a real estate boom, and everybody became a real estate flipper or real estate investor. My parents' generation.
So you get the point there. Basically, everybody's turned into investors and flippers or whatever. Basically, we try to run the markets and see if we can time it and all that kind of stuff. And why can't we just save? Why can't we just save our money? And then when it's time to retire or we can't no longer work because we're injured or whatever, we'll use that money. Well, you know why. So it's paper. But we can do that with gold and silver. And I think we can do that on a permanent basis going forward. The reason why is because so many of the professionals out there, well, at least the decent guys, the ones who are like Jim Rickards and so forth, they're predicting that we're going to go back to a gold standard, whether we do it violently or planned. We're still going back, and once we do, we're not going to go off of it for a very very long time. Probably not in your lifetime. So you can probably bet it's a good bet, probably a good bet that we would be on a gold standard for the rest of our lives, and do so, save in gold and silver. Now here is a short clip where I was on the Peter Schiff Show 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to play that for you.
Next on hold is it Vinci? Is it Vinci calling from Toronto?
Yes, it's Da Vinci from Toronto, Ontario.
Yes.
Hello? Peter?
What's on your mind? Yes.
Hi, I have a question about, we take a risk, on our jobs and what jobs we choose in our life to earn more wealth and store that wealth. And currently, our system is designed that we have to, put it into some sort of, investment, which is another risk. So we risk trying to make money, and then we have to risk to store it. That doesn't make any sense to me. So doesn't it make sense to just save your money in gold and silver for the rest of your life, no matter who you are, where you are, what point in time in history you are at? Because the gold and silver is not going to zero ever.
No, I look. I don't think that you want to only own gold or silver from now until the rest of the time. I mean, you want to remain optimistic, or remain nimble and open-minded to see that there might be opportunities when owning stocks or bonds or real estate would be more advantageous to simply storing purchasing power in gold, or even increasing your purchasing power, based on what's happening to the price of gold relative to the cost of living. I think gold is not only a store of purchasing power at this particular time. I think you actually gain purchasing power by holding gold. But at some point, I think that people will be better off to own, income-producing assets than owning gold. In fact, right now, I recommend that people not own gold to the exclusion of all else. Now, if you want to decide to do that, if you want to decide to only own gold, or only own gold and silver, that's a choice that you can make. I mean, I'm not advocating that as an investment professional. I'm advocating a more balanced approach where gold may invest in the mining sector if those stocks are appropriate. But I'm not saying that only be in precious metals and not be in other commodities, or not be in other asset classes such as stocks or bonds or cash. So I think even now you don't want to only be in gold, but certainly you want to be open-minded. I mean, let's assume somebody had a lot of money in gold, or even all their money in gold in 1974, 1975, 1976. They had a pretty good run up until 1980, but if they kept all their money in gold throughout the 80s and the 90s, not only would they have lost money relative to inflation, but they would have missed out on tremendous opportunities in the stock and bond market or in the real estate market. So you don't need to make a decision now that I'm only going to own gold from now until the day that I die. But I think owning gold right now, given the current circumstances, makes a lot of sense. And I think having a larger position in gold than you might have during other periods of American history makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I see your point a little bit, but it's just that it just seems that you're gambling when you're taking a risk on another opportunity.
Well, it depends on what you're doing, but yes, there's always risk. Whenever you buy a stock, there's risk. You try to mitigate that risk by not overpaying, by doing your homework, and of course, you're compensated for that risk in the form of a dividend and the potential for capital gains. And of course, one thing that you want to do is diversify your risk so you don't have everything riding on just one stock. But in any event.
So yeah, basically, see all those things that he's mentioned. You've got to, diversify. You have to, do your homework. You have to do a lot of work in order to invest properly, so that you do not lose your capital. So these are things that you'd have to split your time on. Like, for example, let's just say you like to do a particular set of work in your life. You'd have to split your time between the work that you love to do with the work that of investing. You have to, make sure the person that you're investing with, if you decide to invest with Peter Schiff, that he's not screwing you, right? You have to make sure that if you were to do it on your own, that you have to investigate the company. You have to investigate all your companies that you're going to invest in, and do basically a lot of work that you may or may not like doing. And if you like doing it, you'll probably make a lot of money doing it, because, well, if you like doing it, that's what helps a lot on doing it well. So, but if you don't like doing it, you're probably not going to do it well, and you're probably going to lose money. So why do that? Why um, why do something you're not going to like and work so hard at it, only to split your time between what you love doing and what you have to do? And I don't think you have to do that. I think that going forward for the foreseeable future, we're going to be on a gold standard one way or another, and you can save in gold for the rest of your life. And I don't think we're going to see in our foreseeable future that we're going to go back to a paper money standard. That that people will trust. Um, I don't personally. I don't see it because unless we're forced into, unless and by the point of a gun, we're forced into it. And who knows? Maybe we are. Maybe we will be. But I don't think so. And I don't think the world will agree to that that kind of system, especially since all the banks which hold all our money right now, they can't be trusted. So there's going to be a failure of trust. Um, and the only way to gain that trust back is over time, and that will take some time to regain that trust. Anyways, that's all I got to say to, and I hope you understand why I like saving in gold and why I like saving in silver as well. Those items have been money for thousands of years. It's going to be money for another thousands of years, and I'm confident that it's an asset class that's going to retain its values so that I can purchase items that I need in my future. I don't have to worry about, well, will my investments cover my needs? I don't have to worry about that, and that's what I love about gold and silver. Well, thanks for watching. I'm blathering on. Appreciate everyone who watches my videos, and thanks a lot.